Welcome to Improv Separately Together. I'm your host, Philip Whiting, and this week I got a friend of mine who we used to be in the same group about, 12 years ago? His name, Gordon! Yeah! Gordon! That was just me because there's no one else here. But I'm glad you're here. So, hi!
Well, hi.
I'm
glad it was just you.
Thank you for doing the show today.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for thinking of me. I thought you forgot about me down here in Florida. Now you moved on up like George and Weezy.
Nah, not really. Would you go ahead and let the audience know a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, sure, man. My name is Gordon Adams. I am, let's see. Yeah, I think it is about 12 years or so, maybe even a little longer that I've known Philip and company. My start in improv really is kind of tied back to my dad, because my dad was a big character in our household. It was just big booming voices, and you always knew how to deliver a line. Mm-hmm. Partially because I had 3 other brothers, and my grandmother lived with us, and so there was a household of 7, and you really had to be able to compete to be able to get your statement out there and for people to understand you. And you had to learn how to spell. If you wanted that last piece of pie, you need to know how to get your message across. But my dad was an actor off Broadway. He and James Earl Jones were actually really good friends and roommates. And they started training at Lee Strasberg's in New York many years ago. And so my dad had this big booming voice, like James Earl Jones, of course. And my dad ended up getting out of the theater because he became a Christian. And at that time, it's not like it is now where, hey, I'm in Scientology and I have a religion that's peculiar. It was, you're going to do this scene and you're going to do whatever we tell you to do, regardless if it conflicts with your morals, if you want to make it in this town.
Right.
If you don't, well, then I guess you're not going to be in this town. So unfortunately, like right after my dad decided that he was stepping away, he got the call to star in The Great White Hope. And they asked him to be it, and he turned it down. And then James Earl Jones actually filled the role. So something that's kind of cool is the fact that when I was at UCF, is where I grew up and did my undergrad and just completed my master's not too long ago, James Earl Jones came to speak in a distinguished lecture series. And this was back in '97. And I arranged to have my mom and dad front row seats. Hadn't seen him in like 30 years.
Right.
And he passes him in the hallway. My dad's like, I don't even know if he's going to remember me. I was like, dude, you told me stories about tying socks on the door and, and I was like, this guy is going to remember who you were. And he's like, okay. So we're walking by, and my dad was like, kind of like put his hand up, and James Earl Jones walks by. Hello, sir. Walking by, and my dad's like, what do you expect? And it was like a scene from Coming to America. Mm-hmm. He has this huge entourage around him, and James Earl Jones, he stops, and he's just like, bro. And he turns back around and goes, Roy? Good God, man. How are you? Do you have seats for the show? Come with me. I was like, yeah, my son's got... I was like, wait for me after... Are you doing anything? Wait for me after the show. This is James Earl Jones. He's telling us, could you please spare a moment to wait with me? So at the end of this show, he takes my dad, myself, my mom, and we go upstairs to this VIP room at UCF, and he's signing autographs. Well, he has my dad sit next to him, and after he signs, he passes it to my dad, and has my dad sign as well. And then he's like, come to my hotel, bring wine for my friends. So I was like, this is like some movie stuff. So we're there until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and these guys are telling stories about, you never know what Dolly Parton looks like when she doesn't have makeup on. And talking about some of the actors that were kind of sweet on both of them, but guys, it's like, yeah, he liked it when you bent down. And so I'm watching my dad have these conversations, and he's referring to James Earl Jones as Jimmy, and he said, your dad was the greatest. It's like, I tell you, he's a damn fool because I respected the hell out of him, but I never understood why he left the theater. You want the truth? I'll tell you. Your dad was the better of the two. He said, so much so, your dad played a role, I wanted to play the role, and I did. Your dad dated girl, I dated a girl. It's like, I'm serious. And I was like, wow. It was the coolest thing to actually get to see James Earl Jones talking about your dad and just saying, I thought your dad was the greatest. Wow. In fact, right here in my office, I have a dilapidated picture. I'm going to bring it out for you, Phil. I didn't know I was going to do this, but...
Neither did I.
Actually, a little kind of falling down in the frame, but this was something that my dad put together afterwards. And this was the billing for that night,
right,
where James Earl Jones was speaking. And then here's some pictures from us afterwards. So that's my dad.
Right.
Right there with James Earl Jones. And then with hair. You can see it's kind of, it still has to be fixed, but unfortunately my dad passed away in November of 2018. And my mom was saying, hey, you know what? I'm sure your dad would like you to have this, because this was hanging in their house for a while. So now it's here in the office. I've got to refurbish it and put it back together. But that's where I can get the craving and desire to be on stage and being charismatic. So the way I got into improv specifically was I was working in real estate, and one of the realtors came up and said, dude, I'm thinking about taking like an improv class. I'm like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. He found out about SAC Comedy Theater, and so he was like, will you do it with me? I was like, fine, I'll do it with you, sure. So we went in, we took level 1, I got skipped to level 3, and we went on to level 4, and at the end of level 4, they said that they were full, and they weren't gonna bring any more people on, and our show was dynamite, and I was the only one out of the whole class that they made a spot for in Lab Rats.
Right.
So I started doing that and was having fun, and that's when I met guys like Matt and Chris and Kevin. And
no, hold on. We took you before your graduation class. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Oh, I know.
That's true. I mean,
I know.
It was through the process.
Yes, you were
It was through the process.
You were still in classes when I'm like, hey, come play with us. I think you were in level 3.
Was I? You know what? I don't remember.
I believe you were.
It could have been.
I think you were level 3.
It's a little bit of a blend, but that's how our paths crossed. It was in that improv world through SAC Comedy Theater. That's where we kind of intersected, and then we were saying, let's go out and share some more of this joy. So, I mean, we've had some fun, teaching classes and doing stuff. Remember that session we did at that church, First Baptist Church, and we were there with their Vacation Bible School, and we've done stuff at hotels and different venues all around. And we got around Central Florida, and with the fairs and the festivals, and for a small group, and that was really pretty kick butt.
Yeah, we were pushing it as hard as we could. All right, so what I'm doing with this show now is I'm getting together with improvisers and a few non-improvisers so far, basically seeing how they've been doing since the whole pandemic had started. Obviously, things are a little bit different now. Things are more open, but we're still going to figure out how it was with you during the whole time.
Sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm sure these stories will not be as long as your first one.
I'm sure they will.
Actually, I love that story because I had never heard that story before, believe it or not.
And that's why I shared it with you. It's,
and
it's a lot about who I am.
And now everyone's going to know. And I like it. You're going to get calls just from this video. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. Since the whole coronavirus started, what changed in your day-to-day process?
My commute. I was driving, let's see, from Claremont, Florida to UCF. So from where we were located, that was about 55, 56 miles one way. With traffic, that was easily an hour, maybe an hour and 5, hour and 10. Sometimes coming home on Friday evenings, that could be $1.20 to sometimes an hour and a half to get home.
Wow.
So my commute went from that to, I'd say my commute right now is approximately 30 seconds. I get out of the bedroom and I open up the laptop and I sign in and I'm at work.
Boom.
So that's probably been the craziest thing for me is driving to my dining room table.
Yeah.
Well, actually, usually it's mostly here in this office.
Oh, well, okay. So we're all home a lot more than we used to be. What do you like about being home so much?
I'd have to say the ability to connect with my family. With as crazy as life has been, and I think a lot of people would probably reflect, because they couldn't go to school, they were in virtual school. I think I'm going to look back at this for a really long time and remember this crazy but special time, because I have twin boys. And they were, in the 10th grade. And what was cool is that now they get to be in each other's classes, if you will, because they're doing the same stuff. So every day they would do their stuff, and they would come out, and we would be able to interact throughout the day. And then we'd have lunch together. And so they're like, God, that's grilled cheese. Let me tell you about this grilled cheese, Phil. It's no joke, man. You got to start off with some everything bread. Okay, Then you got to put down maybe a slice of probably provolone, and then you got to go with some sharp yellow cheddar. Dress that baby with a little bit of butter. With the everything thing, come on, son, it's ridiculous. So what was really cool is that we got to watch an episode of The Office at lunchtime, and we got to know each other at a really critical point, because right now that they're 16 going on 17, they're starting to be able to think like adults, although they don't have the experience of adults, but things start making sense.
Right.
And they are being able to relate to me on a different level, and they're starting to make some of that transition where my dad is kind of like my friend. While he's still an authority figure, he's unique, he's cool. And I think that was a unique opportunity for us over the last 4 or 5 months to get to know each other.
They don't think their dad's cool. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think their dad's cool.
They hear it from their friends. They're like, dude, man, your dad's cool. He's just, I'm not trying to force anything.
Right.
I'm not trying to force an agenda. It's like, let them be who they want to be. They want to come hang out, let's do that.
That sounds awesome. Okay, so we're going to flip the coin on that question. And what do you dislike about being home so much?
What do I dislike? I would say that my butt gets sore because I'm sitting in a crappy chair, and I don't have that nice plush ergonomic thing that I can kind of do that. I also miss my standing desk that I kind of raise up and down. I know I do miss I miss the people, but I also miss not being interrupted every time I'm on a Zoom call and this guy decides that he needs to jump in. It's very hard to explain. Why are you fidgeting? People think I'm probably touching and scratching myself, and it's this little fella who feels like the show revolves around him. So the little interruptions that are hard to get away from whenever you're doing a show, but aside from that and the temptation to just keep doing laundry and doing chores,
right,
and watching TV, no, I don't really do that. But it's the interruptions, and when you're trying to make a point, you're trying to be professional, and then it's like your cover is blown. And you're just like, coronavirus, right? Everybody's right, remote.
You just go, puppy alert.
Exactly.
All right, my dog's never come up here while I'm shooting, so he likes to stay downstairs.
Well, you know what I also come to realize through the pandemic is that because we've been celebrating people's birthdays via Zoom, I've been playing the harmonica. And the only song I can play on the harmonica is like maybe Old MacDonald Had a Farm, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and Happy Birthday. Whenever I play Happy Birthday, he freaks out. Almost, I think it maybe the pitch, he thinks that somebody is in pain.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he comes over and comes to the rescue. I'm going to try it, Phil. Let's see if I can make this happen here. Again, this is not planned, so we don't know if this is going to work, but bear with me. Now, as I'm opening this handy trusty little blend, you can see 5 different scales. Philip, you tell me what scale and key you want me to play this in. We've got the key of G, C, A, D, and E. Pick one.
Just go straight up middle C.
See, I knew you were that kind of cat. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I hear him running. Look at that. It's okay, Papa. It's okay. It was Happy Birthday. It's all right. But thank you for rescuing. Thank you. Oh, those are things that I've learned through the pandemic.
Nice. That was great. They're gonna enjoy that. I'm sure that portion right there, you just became my wife's favorite interview.
Well, amen to that.
So let's think about what you're missing more than anything. Like everything's been taken away. What is that out of that
Yes.
stuff? What are you missing the most?
I am missing duck donuts. Have you ever had duck donuts, Philip?
Me no.
Look them up. Duck donuts are delicious. They are a cake donut, and they make them fresh when you order them.
Oh
You
wow.
see that batter. They have a blueberry pancake donut.
Ooh, that sounds
They
good.
have a Reese's donut. They have a lemon raspberry. I'm telling you, man, it's just ridiculous. And I keep driving by. I was thinking, you know what I need to get through this pandemic as a pick me up? I need some duck donuts. And I went driving through there, and they're closed. And I don't even think they still open up yet. And I'm thinking, every other eatery is open. It's just drive through, or you can just walk in and pick it up. And they are not open.
Huh.
And so I have not had duck donuts since probably February.
Oh man.
I'm really jonesing for it, bro.
Well, hopefully that'll happen for you soon.
Hey, make sure you look it up.
I will.
Listeners out there, check them out. They actually originated in North Carolina.
So
And,
there might be something near.
Probably.
I'll have to go look. Okay, so I'm going to phrase the last question in the series 2 different ways. Because
Okay.
I was asking it one way, and then things did start to open up, so I changed the way I ask it. So originally I would ask it as, once everything's lifted, what's the first thing you're going to go do? And then
I can tell you.
Well, I was going to say...
I can tell you the answer to that first one.
Well, no,
The
this is the same thing. So you get to choose what you want to answer.
Oh, okay, all right.
And so now that everything, not everything, but a lot of things are open except for Duck Donuts, what do you feel is the safest thing for you to go out and do? And I guess you can two-part that.
Well, you know what, man? I think something that I really want to get back to doing is we have the AMC A-list.
Oh, yeah.
And that had over the last year or so, that had been really great for my family because I've recently gotten remarried, and that was back in November of 2018. Dude, you know what? And a whole interview in of itself is my life in the month of November of 2018. It was a country western show, my friend. The song was horrific. I was finishing up all my work for my master's.
Hold on. You froze for a second. The song was what?
I said it was a crazy song. It was a country western song. My life was because in that time, in the same period of time, I was trying to finish up my master's degree, and it was a very hectic time for me, extremely busy at our office place. On the 16th of November, my pastor, who was a little younger than me, great friend of mine, he ended up taking his own life.
Oh, wow.
And it rocked us to the core. The next, the Saturday, I was really happy for a moment because UCF continued their unbeaten streak and they beat Cincinnati, and ESPN was in town. That was really great.
Yeah.
And then at 2:00 that next morning, I found out that my dad passed.
Oh.
And then at the end of that week, because we were getting close to Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, my wife and I got married up in Boston. So it was a tale of just ups and downs, and in a matter of like a 10-day period. So that was crazy for me. But back to your question originally. You know me, I'll take you on some tangents, bro. So I would say the thing that I'm probably thinking is the safest that I can possibly do is what we did for my wife's birthday back here in July, and that was taking an airboat ride.
Oh.
I'd never actually taken an official airboat ride, and that airboat ride only seats 6 passengers. So we're flying, it's not enclosed. And what I didn't realize is that airboats, if they're the right type, they have like 650 horsepower, bro. It's like a Cadillac engine, and it's super light, so it can actually run on dry land.
Oh, wow.
And so it's some of the places where we were out in these swamps in Kissimmee was maybe a quarter of an inch of water, and we were still hauling butt through there. So we went through these prairies and the open lakes, Lake Toho, and we saw alligator nest, and we were out there for like an hour and a half, and that was something that was so much fun to do. But we knew we could do it out in the wild, and it was just our family, just the 6 of us, my wife, my 2 sons, and my wife's 2 daughters. And our little nucleus was out there on the water. So
wow, that sounds awesome. makes me want to try that one. That sounds like it'd be right up my alley.
It was cool. It was really cool, man.
All right, cool. So that is the end of this portion of the show. I hear you brought a friend with you.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and get them, and we'll do an interview. I'll do another reintroduction, and then we'll start the interview with him or her or whoever it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get him.
All right, cool. All right, Gordon went to go get his friend. I don't know who he brought with him today. We'll meet them here and right about now. Hey, welcome to the show.
I thought there was someone in this place. Who is talking to me?
It's me, Philip. Look at the screen. No. Straight ahead.
Big dog. Spirits in here.
No. Up. Look up a little bit. There, right there, straight.
How is this? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I didn't say how. I said, who are you?
Oh, my name is Philip. Gordon didn't tell you what was going on today?
No, man. It took no sound blown back out white guy don't want to speak to me. But I thought he was sitting in here.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Philip. I'm going around and I'm catching up with people to see how they've been doing during the whole pandemic. I just have like...
Look here. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You worry about what you're doing, all right? I want to know about that.
It's more about seeing how you're doing. It's not.
You want to know how I do it? Look, only my wife knows how I do it, sir. I mean, I'm going to tell you that. Now let you know that one day, man.
No.
Maybe it's a few drinks and we'll just see it like a peep, but not so.
that is not what I meant. So basically, I'm just going to ask you about 5 questions, and we'll knock it out, and you can go back to doing whatever you were doing. Is that okay?
What do you mean, whatever I was doing? Whatever I was doing? What you insinuating with that kind of a word?
whatever I was doing.
Well, I mean, because I just don't know what you were doing before this. So
You're right, you don't know. So don't put words in my mouth, making it seem like I'm doing something illicit. Is it because I belong here?
that's not even.
Why? You have some nerve for coming to my house and talking to me like that.
That is not even close to what I was saying.
Oh, you girls, eh? You better, look, we're going to give you 5 minutes. You better go on. Come with it.
All right, you ready? So, since this pandemic started, what changed in your everyday process?
Well, I can't get as much backside as I used to because a lot of women did not want to come out, and I used to come up in the club at times, and now he's no one in the club. So I have to say it's the ability to get a piece of backside.
Oh, okay. So you're not able to go to the clubs anymore.
And get backside. But it's not about the club, it's the backside. You ever had backside, Philip?
No.
You never had no backside, so you're a virgin, you say? You never get a piece of backside from a woman?
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, I was confused.
You sound like, I see how you're standing, and you have a pretty teal shirt. Maybe you're are you a batty man, Philip? Yeah? You like the young men?
No, not at all.
Yeah, because I ask you if you ever had a woman, if you ever some backside, and all of a sudden you're nervous, you can't answer. What wrong with you, man? Look here, man. So look, I have a couple of friends, them, and there's nothing wrong with that, I don't mind it at all. In fact, my own brother is a fellow who has a nice boyfriend, so I'm not ashamed of that, Philip. Don't be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed. I'm married to my wife and I love her. Let's go ahead and jump to the next question that I was going to ask.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we're all home a lot more. What do you like about being home so much?
Well, I think what I like about being home is that I get to get a lot of backside from my wife because I'm home all the time.
Okay, and then on the other side of that, what do you dislike about being home so much?
Boy, that's a tough one. I would say probably the biggest problem with being at home is that the only backside I get is my wife. And so that is, I mean, I love her and thing, but you have spice, man. Everybody variety, and that's what I used to get at the club. So at least one thing is certain, that I'm consistent because my style has not changed. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
So let's think. What is that one thing that you're missing more than anything right now?
I would have to say backside, Philip. Probably backside is what I'm missing. But if you want something like about tangible, I would say is a good piece of curry goat. Because there is a man who have a shop and this store is closed. I can't get no good curry goat right now. Mm-hmm. And my wife don't know how to make curry goat that way. What did I say that?
Not a word. All right. So the last question is, there's a lot of things are opening up now. What do you feel is the safest thing for you to go out and do?
Probably a little one-on-one backside, Philip. That is probably a good thing because it's just one-on-one, and if you're getting it from the back to get the backside, it is a physical distance because you see, look here, look. Let me point this out to you. How about the illustration? Okay, let me show you this. Wait a illustration. Man, them talk about physical distance, right?
Right.
You hear that, right?
Uh-huh.
It's 6 feet, and you can't be face to face because of the water vapor that come from you, right?
Uh-huh.
Imagine this is 6 feet. Okay, you see that? You have to make sure that them 6 feet apart. So imagine this is six feet like that. Why? Because of the water vapor. They can't get like this. They can't get too close because of the water vapor. They will put out like that.
Right.
So you know what to do? Here is my solution. Watch this. Wait for it. Wait for it. They are 6 feet apart, Philip. There is no water vapor coming there, sir.
Right.
And that is probably the safest thing that a hound dog could do.
Gotcha. Thank you. That is all the actual questions I have for the interview. Is there anybody that you would like to give a shout out to out there in the world? Now would be the time.
Yes. I have to give a good shout out to the one and true Bob Marley. You can see this, you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Beautiful freedom. Mm-hmm. You see that? You want that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to give a good shout out to my friend Gladstone Buckley. He's back on the island of Utila in Honduras. He's a good friend of mine. And I have to give one to Alphonse Powell. He has 42 grandchildren. I don't know how I did it, but I know there was a lot of backside getting in there suffering. Okay.
Right. All right, so that's all I have for you. Go ahead and let Gordon come back, and we'll finish this show out. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for stopping by.
Respect. Much love.
All right. Well, that was unexpected. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, man.
That was an interesting interview. Most
Let me tell
interesting
you.
I had so far, I would believe.
Well, that's Reginald Tompkins. He's known all along the land, man. That guy is. I mean, he's legend.
Oh,
Legend.
Wow. All right, so the basic interview is over, but we have a lightning round, a 5 questions in the style of a game show where your prize is, well, nothing. Your video will come out Saturday. That's your prize.
Right on.
So I'm going to ask you real quick 5 questions. You're going to answer just as fast as you can, like a lightning round. Got it?
Constantinople.
I got to ask them. I got to ask the questions first.
You got to admit that was quick, though.
That was so quick that I hadn't even asked.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite drink?
Sorry.
Favorite place to visit?
Boston.
Favorite movie?
The American President.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun is this interview?
9.784.
I'll take it! Yes! 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 That's a win in my book. I'm always prepared for the lower numbers, and I haven't got them yet. So I guess I'm doing okay.
I think you're doing all right, man. This is a cool idea of getting people together, being able to share what they do, share their passion, find out how this is impacting them.
Right.
And in the midst of all of it, we got to continue to laugh, bro.
Right.
What we've just been through as this crazy virus and what we've seen happen in our country, Phil, with the social unrest in between. Dude, there's 2 things that we need. One is grace. We've got to be able to give some grace to each other,
right,
to be able to understand where we're coming from. The second thing is laughter, man. Because laughter is understood in every single language, just like love. And what you're doing is you're bringing it together and you're spreading it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Now's the portion of the show where you get to give shout-outs to who you want to give a shout-out to.
Oh, man, that's really cool. You know what? I got to give a shout-out to my boy, Craig Anthony. Craig Anthony was the guy that got me started thinking about doing improv, and he's the one that dragged me to go to the first improv class. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know you and a bunch of guys that really, I think, have become a great part of my life. So I'd like to give a shout out to some of our friends that you were probably playing with last night, and I couldn't because I was too busy. But like Sean and Chris, and Kevin, and Old Man Dave, man, I tell you what, the list goes on, and Matt and PJ and those guys. I mean, I missed seeing them, but I'm glad that you're bringing this forum back so we can kind of get connected.
And you mentioned all 5 of the ones that were with me last night.
Oh, that's so cool, man. I didn't even get a chance to check out the show, so I didn't know that. And so that's cool.
Well, it's there for anybody to watch. That would be on the Power to Improv Facebook page. You guys can go and watch that. It's we call it the original Power to Improv Players is what I was calling it. Yeah, there it is. And that that website is going to be live for everyone here soon. I think you can see it now, but Matt's got to do some changes to it for the new and upcoming stuff that he has planned for the thing.
And how true would it be that you're talking about bringing this group back together and how real it is, and the fact that I'm wearing this shirt? Did you tell me to wear this shirt?
Had no clue you were going to wear it.
Did you even know that I still had this shirt?
I knew you had it 2 years and 2 months ago.
That's right. That was the last time I played, was when we played at that festival.
I wore mine last night for the show, and I put it on, and I went outside. My wife's sitting out back. I go, "Oh, my shirt shrunk." She goes, "Oh, that one get in the dryer." I go, "It's not the shirt. It's me."
Yeah, my shirt has shrunk a little bit too, so don't feel bad there.
I'm sure not as much. All right, so thank you for coming on the show. We will continue a little bit after this. I'm going to do our outro, and then I'll be right back. Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode with my friend Gordon. Remember, when you guys are out there in the grocery store and all those other places where people have been working this whole time to keep things on the shelf for you, just say thank you to them. It's very simple, and it's a nice gesture. Give a shout out to all the people in the healthcare business that are fighting this thing head on. And remember, drop your hate, spread some love, because we're all one people, and we'll see you next week. All right, peace.